Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Suncoast. And this film is from writer-director Laura Chin, based off of her own experiences with her dying brother when she was growing up. And this takes place at the same hospice care as Terry Schiavo, which thought was very interesting that it was like pulling in some of this real elements. And we have Nico Parker, who plays Doris, our basic avatar for our director. And you have Parker having this tumultuous relationship with her mother, played by Laura Linney, who, I'll admit, right from the start, just insufferable human being, and I hated this character so much, but I'll get to that in a bit. And you have Doris, our main character, struggling with the fact that her brother's going to be dying, that she's been kind of, like, the idea that she's been robbed of having, like, a normal childhood, and she's acting out and wanting to have parties and drink and have fun with her friends in high school, and her lashing out and going through those things. And this relationship with this man named Paul, played by Woody Harrelson, who is a religious man who is protesting taking out of the feeding tube of Terry Schiavo, and the relationship they develop and their friendship. There's a lot of moving pieces here, and I feel like it's a well-shot film. It's a well-made film. I think Chin does a fine job with that. It definitely captures that, like, period with, like, the music and stuff like that, because this is, like, early 2000s. I think Nico Parker's fantastic. I think she gives a great performance, and I think Doris is an interesting character processing her grief, and she's also more quiet, introspective, and deep Doris, as one of her new friends calls her, kind of character, and I can get behind her, and I appreciate her as a protagonist. But Linney and Harrelson's characters are so insufferable, and so much. Laura Linney gives a fantastic performance. She does exactly what this role asks of her, and there's some big emotional moments that she's able to sell. But there's so many horrible things that she does in terms of her relationship with her daughter, and then the film basically acts like we should be on board with forgiving her like Doris does. And then you have Woody Harrelson's character, who, when he's doing, like, weird, fun, middle-aged guy kind of stuff, I buy it. When he's spewing, like, every life matters kind of stuff like that, I'm just like, I didn't buy that in this, like, coming out of Woody Harrelson's mouth once. So that kind of takes out that element of it. But also there's this looming element of, like, this Terry Schiavo story, which doesn't really add much to this story, and it's just kind of like background dressing, and yet it spends so much time focusing on background dressing. I think my biggest problem with this film is how it presents its themes, because so much of this film feels like it's on Doris. She's the one who's been acting inappropriately and needs to, like, learn her lesson in this film, and I don't feel like there's enough pushing on, you know, the adults in the room who are not acting like they should, and especially Doris's mom, who's so disconnected, so negligent, and so just completely acts like she treats Doris like crap. She calls Doris like this selfish, horrible human being, always talking down to her. This trauma that Doris should be feeling. I feel like this film is trying to make excuses for the mother the whole entire time. And even, like, the Harrelson character keeps trying to make excuses for the mother character. And it feels like the film's trying to make excuses for this character, when Doris is the one who really is trying to process all these things and is given no support at all. And by the time the film, you know, kind of puts some light on that, it's way too late. We're well too into the film, and the damage is done. And you struggle with this film a lot because of the messaging it's trying to portray, and it never feels right. And by the end, it feels like it's really trying to course correct, but just don't buy into it at that point. And I feel like so much of this burden is placed on Doris. And she's a young woman who should have had supervision and support from her mother. It's a challenging film in that case. And I don't think it's challenging on purpose. It's the challenge of this film and its perspective it gives. It just doesn't feel right. And there's some potential here. There's some strong acting. But it really falls into like some standard coming of age tropes, especially with all the scenes with these her new friends doing teenager stuff, and then this problematic, murky kind of perspectives that just don't feel right. But maybe they click with you. Maybe it works a little bit better for you, and you can find some more enjoyment out of the experience than I did. But I think it's at least worth a watch. But those are my thoughts on Suncoast. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.